Hey everybody, it's Pax. Welcome back to the campaign play-along for the Circle Undone with Trish and Diana. We're doing Return to the Secret Name today. Let's take a look at the tarot reading for this scenario. So we chose the Tower to remain upright, which allows us to remove a basic weakness from each of our decks for the duration of the scenario. For Diana, we're tossing Obsessive out, temporarily, obviously, and Trish gets the choice between losing her copy of the Tower that she had to take for accepting our fate, or she gets to remove Damned. With the amount of cash in the deck and the speed we've been going through each scenario, I'm a lot more inclined to turn Damned off for the duration of the scenario so that the weakness we're dealing with is a known factor. 4 resources and an action is not particularly expensive for me. And frankly, Damned could give me some serious bullshit. Upside Down Devil could be pretty bad. Upside Down Justice, having the final agenda come into play with an extra doom on it? Yeah, no thank you. So we're going to be flipping Damned over and ignoring that whole tarot business for this scenario. We'll be keeping the Tower in her deck. Speaking of deck lists, let's go look at our upgrades. Alright, for Trish, we added a copy of Another Day, Another Dollar to get that opening cash rolling a little bit stronger. And I dropped a single copy of Money Talks for Well-Connected Level 3. I could have picked up 2 Well-Connected Level 3 to get it a bit more often, but I figure with Mr. Rook and Lucky Cigarette Case drawing me so many cards, and being able to do a big deep dig, wow, that was really tough to spit out, I should be able to get it relatively reasonably timed. And I think the Money Talks just kind of fall off a bit. Maybe if we had the Edge of the Earth Money Talks to level that up into, I'd be a bit happier to keep it. But for now, I think the Well-Connected gets me where I need to be. And the Another Day, Another Dollar lets me play Mr. Rook and some of my other assets that I want to get played sooner. As for Diana, I mentioned the upgrade path at the end of the last video. It's just super simple, 2 level 3 Azure Flames. There's a potential for a ton of fighting in this scenario with guys that slowly get an increasing health pool. So I have to have enough copies of reliable 2 damage per card. Sorry, 2 damage per charge attacks on cards. One thing I do need to be really careful about, though, is last scenario I messed up. I failed to discard an Enchanted Blade when I played an Azure Flame, and I also had a Sixth Sense. And I'm pretty sure if you reviewed the footage, I would have just had one more Azure Flame attack instead of an Enchanted Blade no charge swing or something like that. I don't think it made a big deal, but if I had drawn another one of those treacheries that made me discard cards of cost from my play area or hand, and I had chosen to discard the Enchanted Blade in addition to something else, and if the scenario hadn't ended very soon after, that might have been relevant. It could have been a pretty big error there, so I'll have to be a lot more careful about that on this one. Alright, so the abridged scenario intro, we learned nothing of the Lodge's schemes. We get to the Witch House on French Hill. That's pretty much it. We head into setup. I know there's additional setup from the Return to that gives you additional unknown places. Normally you have 7 total, and the bottom 3 contains the Witch House Ruin. So this is what we've got in the mod. I've already removed 4 from the potential pool. So this gets dropped into these bottom 4. Shuffled. And you grab those ones, shuffle them, drop them on top. And don't ever shuffle this again. Similarly, we've got our moldy halls that we start at Walter Gilman's room. The decrepit doors that all have to go in a random order around the outside. We've got the Hermit with the 4 Doom threshold. Each non-weakness enemy gets +1 health. After you defeat Bram, Jenkins, or Nahab, you can gain a clue from the token bank. 4 Doom threshold first. And then investigating the Witch House. You need 6 clues in Walter Gilman's room to advance. Okay, so let's take a look at our opening hand for Trish. 5 cards. Put that away. Don't need a lab assistant if we've got Mr. Rook. But otherwise, the rest of this is pretty good. Pretty good. Wow, that is a rocketing start right there. Incredible. Super stoked. And for Diana, we remember to take her Dark Insight out this time. And 5 cards. That's not any good. Well, we don't need Guts. We don't need Overpower. We don't need Ritual Candles. Holy Rosary and an Enchanted Blade's fine. I'll take those. Shriveling. Another Enchanted Blade. Deny Existence. Not a lot of cancels. Specifically with the deny existence being so useful for her weakness, it's kind of an unfavorable one to get early. Last thing before we get going, the secret name has -1s for skulls for now, -3s once we move, and the tablets are -2 if you failed and they have us at your location. She attacks you. It's a pretty forgiving bag in the front half, and it's like a reasonable bag in the second half. This tends to be how bags look as scenarios get worse and worse. At least they're not -X's according to like the number of extra-dimensional locations in play or something crazy. We all start in play at the Moldy Halls here, and let's take a flip of that. It's the 2 clues, 4 shroud location with haunted, lose 3 resources. So we're not too keen on investigating here with Trish early, but we can get them if we need them. We need a total of 6 clues to get out of Walter Gilman's room, but we need to spend 2 to get in. And so we need to get either 6 clues down here and then the 2 off this, or all 8 clues down here and then walk in and just end it. And that's what the first half of that scenario looks like. So we're just going to do a bit of a setup turn here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 for Mr. Rook. We're going to go 1, 2 for a lucky cigarette case. We're going to go 1, 2 for a Hawkeye folding camera. And that's just going to use up all of my cash and get me ready to get going next turn with the Perception and the Burning the Midnight Oil at a different location. Similarly for Diana, we're going to go ahead and spend all 5 on an Enchanted Blade, which we're going to shove right in between those 2 slots so we don't forget about its slot requirement and a Holy Rosary. And then we're just going to take a resource, because that can be very useful with Diana without very many cancels to go forward. Getting up to 2 for next turn, in case it's something we don't want to see right away, is pretty good. So upkeep for Trish. She gets the tower already. A bit of a problem, but not too bad. And then Diana, an Arcane Initiate. Pretty good to see early. Getting some, my other Deny Existence or some other spells, Water Protection, all very good to see with that. But even Sixth Sense, my Azure Flames, very good. Another reason it's very good is because this is a relatively small Doom threshold, so if I can play it on turn 3, we're all set. 1 out of 4 Doom, and we get a Fate of All Fools on Trish. But that's okay. That's fine. It's better to get this on Trish than to get it on Diana, because Diana can't cancel the card that Fate of All Fool forces to you. It says there that card gains peril, its effects cannot be cancelled. And so I think it's better to go on Trish and have her just suffer through it a little bit than for Diana to have a bunch of extra encounter cards she can't deal with and boost her willpower. And Diana gets a Vice and Villainy. That's a shame. Well, what are we most likely to use up before? I think this probably goes on my Rosary. I think it goes on my Enchanted Blade because I have another one anyway. Let's just do that. There. Now it's covering both slots. I won't mess that up. Well, Trish is a little bit in a bad position just because she can't really commit, so she does need to find one of the lower shroud locations. So let's try that. She's going to head to this one first. It is the Frank Elwood's room. You must either place one of your clues on Frank Elwood Doom or place a Doom on the current agenda. That's a bit of a problem. 3 is a little high for me to deal with right now, especially without the ability to commit. And so I'm kind of thinking I might need to move again and just kind of kill this turn. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. The Joe Mazurik's room. Jesus. Search your deck for a blessed or item asset, add it to your hand. Very good for Diana to fetch her blade. Yeah, but she's not going to have a lot of things canceled. And that's a lot of tempo and getting a card to your hand and kind of play something that's not going to be super useful. But Haunted, you must either take a horror or choose and discard an asset you control. She can probably try to power through that. But more than likely, she's going to use Rook to try and gain 4 resources. 2 resources off of Cryptic Writing during Investigate and see if that works. Anyways, it is Diana's turn. I think that we're going to be spending a bit of time drawing cards with her. So let's go ahead and draw 1 card. It is a Delay the Inevitable. That's pretty good to see, I think. The delay is delay's nice. And I think once again we're going to draw. That'll put us at 7. It will put us at max hand size kind of going into upkeep, but I think we'll just draw and take a resource. We're kind of waiting around for enemies and waiting for Trish to get stuff done. So I think that's fine. Get our upkeep on Trish. I forgot to tick off those. The Cryptic Writings. Shoot, that's a bit unfortunate, but we can't just play it. and then play the tower, and then we can get going. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then Diana gets her upkeep, which is a Guts, which is relatively useful. We're at 2 out of 4 Doom. And any counter card for Trish is going to be the Meddlesome Familiar. If Brown Jenkins not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for him, spawn him at your location, take a damage. So we'll take 1 damage. We'll just take that right now, and then we'll go grab him. So here he is. We all know him and love him. The 1/2/4 currently, because of the +1 on the agenda. Aloof Hunter. Each ready creature enemy gets +2 fight when the enemy phase ends. If Brown Jenkins ready, each investigator at his location discards his or her hand and then draws that many cards. Now the nice thing is again that with Trish's ability, I can either get extra clues or evade him, and so he won't be ready and discarding my hand constantly. So that's kind of nice. And then Diana Stanley gets a Swarm of Rats, who are a 1/2/3, a 3/2/3 currently, because Brown Jenkins just spawned. So we will go ahead with Trish first. We'll do the safer play of playing this for 2 resources and then playing the tower. And then we'll investigate with the Burning the Midnight Oil. That'll put us at 2 resources overall. And we'll use Mr. Rook to search the top 9 cards of the deck for a card. We do get the Shadow Agents. But we will also grab what? Do we grab the Deduction? Or do we grab a Magnifying Glass? It's kind of a tricky one. I think we'll grab the Deduction. I think the Deduction's okay here. Shuffle that. Now we're investigating at 4, 5, 6, 7 against 3. We get a 0. That succeeds by 2 for the Lucky Cigarette case. That's 1 draw. We get the Perception. That's another draw. When we successfully investigate, we do get to automatically evade an enemy or discover an additional clue. Now, unfortunately, we drew him off of this, and I kind of forgot about the whole Brown Jenkins thing, so we're going to lose these, but I'd rather get rid of him and not take 2 damage than need to keep these. So, all good there. We even get an evidence on our Hawkeye Folding camera, getting us to 3 willpower. Now, as for Diana, she's going to get an opportunity to kill the Swarm of Rats, but another thing she could do is walk in, engage Brown Jenkins, and take a big swing at him. Problem is she takes some attacks of opportunity off of that. She'd take like at least 1 damage. Would be able to cycle this Delay the Inevitable under her to get her willpower up a little higher, but I think that ultimately losing 2 cards off Trish, those 2 cards in particular, is not the worst thing in the world, so we'll do it a little bit slower. We'll do the attack on the Swarm of Rats, spending 1 charge with the Enchanted Blade. That puts us at 3, 4, 5, 6 against 3. Yeah, we'll just put the Overpower into it to get some more cards churning. A -2, so we draw a card from Overpower. Wrong hand. The Swarm of Rats gets defeated. Pretty good so far. And you know what? I think I'm just going to use the Drawn to the Flame right now to get those 2 clues off the location and encounter card. Trespasser. +2 difficulty for each non-weakness treachery in your threat area. If you fail, take 2 damage or 2 horror. Well, we're currently at 2 against 3. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play this Delay the Inevitable during the free triggered ability window there, attached to ourselves. And we'll take that 2 against 3. -1. We fail. We either take 2 damage or 2 horror. We'll immediately cancel that, put that underneath her card and a resource. Great. And then we'll get the 2 clues off the location. I think last action, she's just going to take another resource. She's got a lot of expensive stuff. So at the end of the enemy phase, he's ready, so each investigator at his location discards his or her hand and draws that many cards. So that means Trish is going to lose this hot streak in this Working a Hunch for 2 new cards, which is a Lab Assistant and a Deduction. That's fine. Upkeep, second Lab Assistant. And then for Diana, she gets another Deny Existence. Okay, so we're pretty good on cancels now. We need to get some of these used up. 3 out of 4 Doom for the Witching Hour. We want to play that Arcane Initiate on Diana if we can. What do we get for Trish? Despoiled. After you succeeded a test during your turn, just increase the difficulty of each subsequent test you perform this turn by 1. Fine. Diana gets Maligned. Increase the cost of each card you play by 1. Also, fine. So Trish is going to do a move and a move. And that's going to reveal this Decrepit Door, which is the Landlord's Quarters. After you reveal the Landlord's Quarters, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Swarm of Rats and spawn it in Moldy Halls. Shuffle the encounter deck. So that's going to go onto Diana. And that's going to be another 3/2/3 rat for her to kill off with this Enchanted Blade. But we're all set up for it, and that's why we went for it. And after her 2 moves, she's going to do another Investigate over here. She's going to be at 4 against 2. We're going to trigger Mr. Rook. Take a look at the top 9 cards of her deck. Take this for 2 resources. We could take a Magnifying Glass for +1. We'll take the Perception, though, for +2. Try and crush this test again. And we'll do what we did last time. Perception and a deduction into it. To be 7 against the 2 Shroud. Last action. A -2. We draw a card from Perception and Lucky Cigarette Case. We get the 2 clues off the location. And we get an evidence on our Hawkeye folding camera, bringing us up to 5. And now my next test this turn is increased by 1 difficulty, but too bad. As for Diana, we're going to go ahead and make an attack at 3, 4, 5, 6 against 3. I could boost this up 1 more, but I think I'll commit a Shriveling to do that. I don't think I need a second Shriveling after this other Enchanted Blades. We'll be at 7 against 3. -4. Good thing I went that high. And then we will, for 2 resources, because of the Maligned, play this Arcane Initiative. And we'll search the top 3 cards of our deck for a spell. Wrong hand again. We missed on the spell there. And what we'll do is we will spend our 2 clues and move into the final location with Diana. I don't really want him to eat me up there. Oh, and these are on Trish right now. I spawned them instead of picking them up, of course. But I don't really want Brown Jenkins to discard Diana's hand there. So this is the 4 Shroud location with draw 3 cards and take a horror, limit once per game. Haunted, discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. So Brown Jenkins moves into the center. Trish gets her upkeep for a Nimble. And Diana gets her upkeep for a Delay the Inevitable. The Doom ticks over. If Brown Jenkins is in play, we search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Swarm of Rats and spawn it in Brown Jenkins' location. If Brown Jenkins is not in play, you search the encounter deck and discard pile for him and spawn it at the lead investigator's location. So we have to get a Swarm of Rats out. Which unfortunately pops out into this middle location, which means that Trish is going to have to get through these guys. And then in addition to that, each non-weakness enemy now has +2 health. So encounter card on Trish. Fate of All Fools, which means that she draws a new card against peril. It can't be cancelled, and I cannot commit skill cards to it. It's the Extra-Dimensional Visions. +1 difficulty for every 10 cards in the encounter discard pile. If you fail, discard an asset you control. Well, as far as I know, there's only... there certainly aren't 10 cards in the encounter deck. Excuse me, the encounter discard pile. There are 5, in addition to the Fate of All Fools, which I just discarded. And I think that one counts. But I am 1 up because of my Hawkeye folding camera, so that's kind of nice. I'll just use Rook now. I don't think there's any reason not to. It's not like I can commit anything off of it, but it does kind of get me a little more informed for this coming turn. That's kind of sick, isn't it? It's kind of sick. I could take an attack of opportunity and get this clue off the location, though. And that's really tempting to do with this Working a Hunch. I think I can pull that off and finish this area this turn. That sounds okay to me. So let's take the Working a Hunch. We'll shuffle those back in. And then we're just testing 1 up, which we could fail. But I've got a tower, so it doesn't really matter. I pass anyways. Keep it for later, I guess. This is only during your turn, so I don't have a +1 difficulty yet. And then Diana gets a Despoiled herself, which is a bit of a bummer. Let's take a look at the top 3 cards of her deck for a spell. She does get an Azure Flame out of that. Not bad. Now, as I said, Trish can... Oh, you know what? She doesn't even need to do what I thought she needed to do. So she can pop this Magnifying Glass into play. She can take a move, which puts her here with the Swarm of Rats on her. And then she can take a move action, taking an attack of opportunity for 1 damage. Well... Should I just kill Rook off? Maybe I should wait for some horror. I think I just killed Rook off on that. Nah, I wait for the horror for sure. And that moves her up. And then she can play that Working a Hunch. 2 resources, gather a clue at her location. After she just discovers a clue at her location with an enemy, she can discover an additional clue. So we'll pick up both of those clues. That puts us at the 6 clues we need to advance. And so we'll do so. We'll spend the requisite number of clues to advance as a group. Swap Walter Gilman's room with the set-aside Keziah's room, taking its place. All tokens and cards at the former location are now at the new location. Remove each other location and play from the game. Choose an investigator to take control to set aside the Black Book asset. Shuffle both set-aside copies of Strange Geometry into the encounter deck. So notably, Brown Jenkins eats it, and then all of these locations are going to also eat it. And we're going to go back into the center in her room in just one moment. Now, as for who gets the Black Book, I think that it's Trish. She's not going to be making use of the cost reduction very often, but she is going to be making use of the +1 willpower to kind of try and get ahead of some of these treacheries on top of her Hawkeye folding camera. It kind of saves me having to solve a Hawkeye folding camera, which is kind of cool. Now we've got this new objective. Only investigators in the Witch House ruins may spend the 10 clues as a group to advance. I'm going to need a couple more in addition to that. I think I need 14 clues in total to kind of like burn my way through the cheesier version of how you accomplish this. So we're in Keziah's room. After you successfully investigate Keziah's room, instead of discovering clues, you put the top card of the Unknown Places deck that we built at the start of the scenario into play unrevealed. Then you may move to that location with a haunted effect, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a hex card is discarded and draw that card. Now, finally, we've not succeeded at a skill test yet. I think I just toss an evade into this guy at 4 against 3 to see if I can make it so Diana doesn't have to swing into me, because I think that's better than needing to swing into me. Also, I did forget to get an evidence after discovering the last clue off that location, which I'm just going to take because I'm a bastard. But we'll do an evade 1-up, and we do get to evade him, so that's kind of nice. Now, as for Diana, she's going to do the big full swing of the Enchanted Blade into the rat. He's currently only 1 combat again because Mr. Dickus, God, I can't fucking remember his name. Brown Jenkins, not in play. His name is not indeed Mr. Dickus. I guess there's a question of should I get rid of this Despoiled first? Or maybe this Maligned. I definitely do need to get rid of these at some point. I wouldn't mind her willpower being a bit better, but I guess we'll go for the attack first. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but it kills him in 1 hit is the big thing. And it does kill him in 1 hit, and I can add this back to my hand, but I don't think I want to. So we'll kill him in the 1 hit. And then I've got some actions with which to still do stuff, which is a little confusing, I guess. We'll go and spend... Ooh, do I really want to spend 4 doing this again? That's a little rough. I also have +1 difficulty to my next test, which means I'd be down on both of these right now. Yeah, I think the answer is that I do need to spend 4 on my next Enchanted Blade, unfortunately. But that's okay. That's not that big of a deal. It does mean that we're a little slower than I like to be, I think. Losing that extra resource is a bit of a bummer, but I do have these Deny Existences that are going to cost me 1 because of Maligned. Ooh, yeah. I need to prioritize getting rid of this very soon. Okay. Last action, I'm just going to take a resource, because... yeah, this is going to be a problem if I don't have resources. Okay, no enemy stuff going on, so we do get to do our upkeep on Trish next. An intel report, cool. And then Diana, a steadfast, also cool. Maybe a guts and a steadfast into this Maligned or this Despoiled to get rid of them. Seems pretty good. Also, this Doom has been sitting here, but that got cleared when we advanced forever ago, right? 1 out of 6 Doom. And then an encounter card for Trish. She gets the Strange Geometry. Put it into play and move to it. Bummer. After the investigation phase ends, discard this, move each investigator and enemy here to the location with the most clues, and each investigator who moved by this effect takes a damage and horror. Or you can clear 1 clue off of it, and if it has no clues on it, move to any revealed location. And then Diana gets a Trespasser. This treachery gets +1 difficulty for each non-weakness treachery in your threat area. If you fail, take 2 damage or 2 horror. Once again, we're probably going to be using a Deny Existence to get rid of this and just test it as is. We will use the Arcane Initiate to look for a spell. We do not get a spell. But we'll be testing 3 against 5, actually. Wow. Right? +1 difficulty for each non-weakness treachery, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5. 3 against 5. -1. So we will pay 1 because of Maligned, you rat, to Deny Existence that, getting a willpower, a card and a resource back. That's a Clairvoyance off of that. Okay, not bad.
So notably with Trish, we do have -3s right now for these skulls. If she's trying to get that dimensional location, extra dimensional location cleared. And I think that is what we're doing. It's just a matter of how we're going about doing it. One thing that's interesting right now is I can like Black Book and kill off Mr. Rook to pay for this hot streak to gain 10 resources straight off. But I don't think I want to bother doing that until I've got like the well connected to back it up. So we're just going to do an investigate 2 up. And I think we're going to go 3 up with the lab assistant to try and pass that. That is the -3, but we do get the clues. That's good. And we can head back to the central location. We now have +1 difficulty to our tests. And we'll move back with Diana. I will say I'm a little tempted to take 2 horror with the Black Book to play this lab assistant for free. I think I'm going to do that. Take 2 horror, killing off Mr. Rook, to play the lab assistant for free, which draws 2 cards. Cryptic writing and a Hawkeye folding camera. Well, I think I need these icons. So I'm going to investigate the location, 6 against 4, and then commit the cryptic writings to it. I think that's okay. That's successful. And so we get to put the top card of the unknown places into play unrevealed and then move to that location. So we'll do that, flip it over, and move. We are at the Twilight Abyss. After you enter the Twilight Abyss, test 3 combat or agility. For each point you fail by, take 1 damage. Okay, so we're testing... unfortunately, 5 against 4, which actually sucks pretty bad. That's quite a lot of damage coming my way. But I don't know if there's much I can do about that. I guess I could put the Nimble in to just try and reduce the damage coming. I kind of have to because if I take 5 damage, that's going to be catastrophic. Those Brown Jenkins spawning thing that does a damage to you is going to be a pain in the ass over and over. So a -3, that is 3 damage. But I'll just take it on the chin for now, I guess. Okay, Diana. Let's get rid of the Despoiled first. So we're going to be at 4 against 3, and we're going to put the Steadfast into this to be 7 against 3. I think I'm okay with that. +1, so that's gone. And then we're going to test off this one. 6 against 3. Am I happy with 6 against 3? I think I'm happy with 6 against 3. The auto fail. Should have known that was going to happen. Oh well. And then I think we're just going to take a resource. Once again, we've got some expensive stuff going on. So upkeep for Trish is the Ace of Rods. Not very useful. And for Diana, the Twilight Blade. Fine. Yeah, getting the Deny Existence back eventually will be okay. 1 out of 6 Doom. Encounter card for Trish is from the other side. Test 3. If you fail, resolve each haunted ability in a location. Well, fortunately, she's at a location with no haunted abilities, so she does fail. She doesn't fail by 3 or more, so she doesn't have to resolve the no haunted abilities twice. That's kind of nice. Then Diana. Unstable energies. When you leave the attached location, resolve each haunted ability on it. Yeah, that's a problem. That actually kind of sucks, because the haunted ability here is bad. And I think it might have been smart for me to come follow Trish, but I didn't really want to take a bunch of extra damage I don't need to. I guess she has the cancels, and that's kind of her whole thing. But anyways, that is a pain in the ass, and I'm going to have to get her to do a successful investigate so that Trish doesn't have to suffer through this, I think. That's going to be a problem. Anyways, on Diana first, we'll take a look at those top 3 cards for a spell if we can get one. We do get another Azure Flame. As for Trish, let's get rid of that Spoiled off of that. She could try to get rid of this testing 2 up, but that seems a little rough. I guess she just tests this location a couple times. What is she at? She's at 6 against 2, so the first 3 have very good odds. So we'll do that. 6 against 2, that's 1 clue off the location. And then 6 against 3, that's not a clue off the location, so 1. And we'll just do the 6 against 3 again. Yeah, that's 2 clues in total that turn. That's fine. It's not an incredible pace, but it's progress on a victory location, so we'll take it. Now, as for Diana, how is she going to pass this? How is she going to pass this test? This is going to be a kind of a pain in the ass, isn't it? She could rely on the Dark Prophecy, I suppose, but that does leave the skull at -1, and so she still needs a commit on top of that, and she needs to not hit the She needs to not hit the tablet only, which is, I don't know, not super likely, I don't think. So I think what's actually going to happen is she's going to, for 3 resources, play Delay the Inevitable, and then she's going to move out of the location. Moving out of the location resolves a 100 ability, so you discard the cards from the top of the encounter deck until Hex card is discarded and draw that card. So let's see what we get. Curse. Curse. Hazard. Omen. Hazard. Hex. This card gets +1 difficulty for every 10 cards in the encounter discard pile. If you fail, discard an asset you control. So this is currently a 2, and +1 from that difficulty modifier, because there are 16 cards in the discard pile. Discard an asset you control. I mean, I could force the Enchanted Blade to get discarded now if I wanted to, but then that would trigger the Vice and Villainy for sure, and then I might not pass that. Gotcha. I'm only up by 1. I suppose... Is up by 1 good enough for me to just try this? It's not really that good, is it? Deny Existence doesn't block discarding an asset. So I think that ultimately I either have to lose the Initiate, which might be fine because of how many spells I've drawn out of my deck with her, or I might need to lose the Enchanted Blade and test this and maybe put it on my other one, which would be a huge bummer. That would be a big bummer. That said, there are 14 cards remaining in the deck, and so this might not happen for a little bit. So we'll just test this one up. Yeah, we'll test it one up. If we pass, we pass, and if we fail, we'll move it over to our Enchanted Blade, and we'll hopefully have time to use that before the encounter deck runs out. So it does fail. We'll get rid of that Enchanted Blade, and we'll attach this Vice and Villainy to this one instead. You know what? Maybe I attach the Vice and Villainy to the Initiate. I think that's actually probably the better play. Anyways, then we move in, and we're testing 3 Agility against 3. And we pull the -2, and Nahab's not in play, so that doesn't matter. We get to cancel that with the Delay the Inevitable, pushing our Willpower up 1, gaining a resource and drawing a card. Holy Rosary. Okay. And now we're at the same location with Trish, so she's probably feeling a little bit safer. I think now we're good to try this Maligned. And just test it 2-up off myself. That's gone. And you know what? We'll even test the one off of Trish 2-up. And that is not gone. Okay, upkeep for Trish is a Manual Dexterity. And then upkeep for Diana Stanley is a 6th Sense. Now, what are we dropping? I like these Azure Flames. I think one of these goes, and I don't know which one. I think that's the answer, because I think my Holy Rosary is really useful for icons to make sure that these are hitting. It's also really good if another Vice of Villainy pops out. And I do still need some of these cancels. But ultimately, there are a lot more clues to get, and maybe the Clairvoyance is the one to keep. Yeah, I think that might actually be the right call. I think that I keep the Clairvoyance. Yeah. At the end of the round, that Treachery does go away. Pick that up. Bye-bye. 3 out of 6 Doom. And an encounter card for Trish is the Meddlesome Familiar. Again, a damage and spawn Brown Jenkin at your location. I think that damage is going to go in the Lab Assistant and just kill her off. I don't, I'm not too fussed about her hand size bonus, and I don't want this to get scarier for me. Nice thing about this is that her first test is going to get 2 clues, hopefully. And then for Diana, we get another Maligned. Of course. Why wouldn't we get Maligned, right? God. Alright, so Trish is going to investigate the location, 6 against 2. A -2, so she gets to trigger her Lucky Cigarette case. That's successful. The Despoiled is increasing her next difficulty, but that's okay. And we're going to use her ability to gather 2 clues from the location. And we'll leave Brown Jenkin behind for Diana to deal with. Head back to the central location. We're going to go ahead and play a Hot Streak to gain 7 resources. So Diana's going to go ahead and engage Brown Jenkin. Let's get this guy dealt with. She's going to swing at him. He is currently a 3-3-4. She's going to swing at him 5-6-7 for plenty of damage. A -3, that kills him for 3. And I also get to take a clue from the token pool for that. In last action, she's going to test this Maligned off of herself. She is going to spend 2 to play a Dark Prophecy to reveal 5 tokens and choose one of those tokens and ignore the rest. Okay, so she does get to take that -2, which is good. So that means this is gone. This goes under her. She draws a card and a resource. Excuse me, a card. Yeah, draws a card, gains a resource, and that goes away. So that's pretty good. So she's up to a nice healthy 6 total. Okay, that's upkeep for Trish, Burning the Midnight Oil. And upkeep for Diana is Ritual Candles. Now she's over hand size again. I think that a Clairvoyance goes. Well, her willpower is pretty high now. I think that maybe the Ritual Candle goes. She can only put 1 more cancel underneath her before I'm like tempted to get this Twilight Blade out and start, reusing stuff. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So 4 out of 6 Doom. Countercard for Trish. From the other side. That'll be happy to not suffer through this. Put that away. So we'll be at 6 against 3 if you fail resolve the Haunted ability on your location. -3, so we draw a card from the Manual Dexterity. Ooh, we get the Money Talks for a 6 currently, but soon to be 7, maybe even higher. Resource test. And then on Diana, she gets the Unavoidable Demise, test 2. Kind of want to fail this, I think. -3. And what's that? That's just 2 damage? You know what? I think I just take the 2 damage. I think that taking the 2 damage is kind of the safer play here. I think that's fine. So we're going to go ahead with Diana first. She's going to move into the center, but she's going to test that Despoiled off, and we're going to commit the Holy Rosary to be 4 up. Okay, well that's gone. And then last action, she's just going to go ahead and spend 1, 2, 3 on an Azure Flame. That way she's all set up for some more attacks. Okay, Trish, let's do your thing. We're going to investigate this location. 6 against, we'll just use this for +2 resources. 6 against 3. A -2, so that's successful. Draw the top card off of this Unknown Places, and we move to it. It is the Price Matter, excuse me. 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. 5 combat test to topple the Strange Eldritch statue. If you succeed, remove a Doom from Nahab, even if she's out of play. Okay, interesting. Haunted plays a Doom on her. Yuck. Anyways, I think we will get some clues off of here just because of how many we need. We'll be testing 6 against 2. That's a -2. We get to draw a card off Lucky Cigarette Case. Mr. Rook is who I'm looking for, so we'll get a clue off of that. And then I will spend 3 resources to play Mr. Rook. And since we're not... we currently don't have any weaknesses remaining, we'll just take a look in the deck for 9 cards. We'll go ahead and grab that Well Connected, and that'll help us crush tests a little more convincingly going forward. Okay, upkeep for Trish is a In the Shadows, great. And upkeep for Diana is an Emergency Cash, also pretty good. Let me get that Clairvoyance into play once this Enchanted Blade is emptied. 5 out of 6 Doom. We're going to have to be dealing with Nahab pretty soon. Countercard for Trish is Pulled by the Stars, but that's okay. I think she's going to be moving around a lot, and frankly, she has a fair amount of Horror Soak now. And then Diana Stanley gets another Unavoidable Demise. I think she'll be canceling this one with a Deny Existence, or maybe she just removes this. She can't afford that right now. Okay. Let's take a look at the top 3 cards for a spell. Let's see if we can get one. No spell. Also, this Obsessive is not supposed to be in my deck right now. That was supposed to be removed. So let's pull an extra card. Guts? Nope. Still no spells. And she'll be testing 3 against 2. -1. Cool. So she passes that. Then this goes up to the agenda deck. We'll have to remember now that these are 3 tests for 3 damage. Okay, so Trish is going to move back to the center, because she doesn't need all these clues. I just didn't really know what else to do there. And then she's going to spend 2 on a Well Connected. Then she's going to investigate the central location. Tapping the Well Connected for +2. We'll be at, what is that? 6, 8 against 3. -2. That's successful. Pop a new extra dimensional location into play. It is the Library of El Ebla. Test 5 willpower to search the library for arcane lore. If you succeed, deal 3 damage to Nahab, even if she's out of play. Group limit once per game. Cool. But this is a victory location, so I want those clues. Oops, wrong person. Oh, thank you. Okay, now for Diana. I kind of just want her to be ready to deal with those guys when they pop out.
And to that effect, she's kind of already set up. She's got an enchanted blade to be able to deal 3 damage, an azure flame to deal another 2. That's pretty much going to kill Nahab. Then she can walk away from Brown Jenkin, maybe. But the point being is she's kind of good where she's at right now, I think. So let's go ahead and play this emergency cash. Get those $3. We're going to need them. We'll take a card draw. A steadfast. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And you know what? I think we're good on cards. We're just going to take another resource. Kind of a lot of waiting around on this Diana deck, but I'm so nervous about these enemies. I don't want them to get like totally out of hand. And I'd rather let Trish just kind of go do the cluing and not try to go too nuts. Try to outpace the scenario that's trying to do an endurance test on me. So upkeep for Trish gets her a magnifying glass. It's just an icon at this point. And then upkeep for Diana gets her a fearless. That'll be pretty good. Get our Doom ticking over. It's Act 2, so we spawn the set-aside Nahab in Keziah's room. We put both the Ghostly Presence in the encounter deck, and then we find Brown Jenkin and place him in Nahab's current location. Now, we got to keep in mind, the Ghostly Presence don't shuffle in with the discard pile, and so we're going to be seeing them pretty soon. And then we're at the Witchlight. They now get +3 health. After you defeat Brown Jenkin or Nahab, you gain a clue from the token bank. 8 Doom threshold. And again, that puts Brown Jenkin in our location, and Nahab engaged with Diana. So Nahab is going to be 4 to fight with 5 total health, I believe, because of the agenda and her +2. After the enemy phase begins, if she's ready, you place a Doom on her. So we're going to try and kill her the moment that this gets going. We do have to do encounter cards. Trish gets a Meddlesome Familiar. We do have to, unfortunately, spawn a swarm of rats engaged with me and take a damage, which is a little bit of pain, but not too bad. It is a little painful because they're pretty chunky now, but we also have this well-connected to do big evades if we need to. So I think we'll be okay. And then Diana gets Trespasser for each non-weakness treachery, +1 difficulty. So I'm testing 6 against 3. And I'm going to be taking 2 damage or 2 horror if I fail. Well, I'm going to be honest, I think I'm okay with that going off. Oh, look, my cards have fallen off of Diana. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but this kind of got a little broken. So we're testing 6 against 3. I think that we're okay just testing that and taking 2 horror if we fail. -3, so we succeed. Cool. So I think we'll go with Trish first to see if we can make this make sense. If I had one more resource, that'd be pretty cool, but unfortunately I don't. But I'm going to do an evade against the Swarm of Rats. I'm 4 against 3, and I'll tap this for +2. That'll get me 6 against 3. And you know what? We'll just use Rook and look at these top 3 cards, see if we can get an icon. Yeah, we'll take the Manual Dexterity and commit that. I guess I should have... Oh, whoops. I should have considered that a bit better. But anyways, we'll commit the Manual Dexterity. So like 8 against 3. We do succeed. We get to draw a card off the Manual Dexterity and the Lucky Cigarette Case. We get those 2 cards, and he's evaded at the location. That's action 1. Action 2, we're going to be investigating up a decent amount. 6 against the Shroud of 4. But I think we're going to be tossing some actions into this. Excuse me, some icons into this. We're going to go ahead and use an intel report to be 8 against 4. And this will get us 2 clues because we still have Trish's reaction remaining. -2, great. So we get 2 clues off the location. And then last action, I'm tempted to test this off of myself so that I don't just take 2 horror stupidly. Because it'll all come at once here. And that's kind of annoying. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. So I'm going to test this off. And I'm going to be at 2, 3, 4 against 3. And I can even get up to 5, 6 against 3. That's 3 up. 3 up seems reasonable. We'll do 3 up. Yeah, the -2. So that gets tested off of us. We're good on that front. Now for Diana, she's going to go ahead and fully charge up her Enchanted Blade for an attack on Nahab. And that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against 4. We will go ahead and put that steadfast into it to be like 10 against 4. Ooh, choose a card to add back to your hand. Yeah, we're going to take a Dark Prophecy back to hand and lose a willpower there. But that hits for 3 damage. That's pretty good. And then we're going to use the Azure Flame charge to attack for 7 against 4, and we're going to play the Dark Prophecy. Let's readjust our camera there. So 7 against 4, revealing 5 tokens. We'll take the Skull. That's a -3. That hits. We canceled all those. We get a card and a draw. That goes back onto her, back up to 6, and that's 2 more damage. And she gets... does she just get sent to the discard pile? I don't remember how she works. Yeah, she just goes to the discard pile, but we do get a clue for having had defeated her. Now we're in a little bit of a pickle. Oh, this should have been discarded forever ago. Whoopsies. Yeah, so we're in a bit of a pickle with Brown Jenkin here, because we're going to be losing someone's hand. And I'm kind of tempted for it to be Trish's, because I don't mind too much her losing all this stuff. And I don't really want Diana to lose all her things. But that means that she needs to either successfully investigate this action or just move to one of these, which kind of sucks. That's not great, I think. But an investigate's not out of the question, right? Like, I could toss both my clairvoyances into an investigate, maybe even the deny existence. I could try 5 against 3. It's not unreasonable. Maybe I'll use my Arcane Initiate to look at the top 3 cards of the deck for a spell. I do get a Ward of Protection out of that. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. I'll just toss all these in. Shouldn't have done that. I always do this to myself. I shouldn't. But I'll test 6 against 3 and try and put a new location into play. A -1. Cool. So we get it, and then we'll get a new location. It is the Witch House Ruins. Okay, great. We'll move over there. That's awesome. Also, one thing I hadn't really considered is the location connectivity, which is that these are currently connected. So let me draw that really quickly. Okay, so there we are. We've still got locations left. We've only got like 1 victory secured at the moment, which is kind of a bummer for this scenario. So we're going to let Brown Jenkins hunt to her. And then when the enemy phase, if Brown Jenkins is ready, enemy phase ends, if he's ready, each investigator his location discards his or her hand and then draws that many cards. So I'm fairly certain that she discards her hand and then draws that many cards. So I think that this happens. I could be wrong. 1 horror is going to go there. And that was 6 cards. Boom. Pretty good haul off of that, I think. And then we do upkeep and upkeep. Dark Prophecy. 1 out of 8 Doom. And encounter cards. Yeah, there's the Ghostly Presence. Forgot to ready the rats there, but yeah, Nahab gets spawned at my location, and now this working a hunch that I drew into is looking pretty clutch, because I can just pick up a clue off the location and auto-evade her, toss this into an auto-evade on him, or just use this and make them all disengage from me. Use the working a hunch to get 2 clues and run away. A lot of options. And then for Diana Stanley, she gets, Disquieting Dreams, test 5. If you fail, put this into your threat area. At the end of your turn, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Well, let's try not to fail that. We'll spend 1 for a Dark Prophecy. And that'll put us at 6 against 5. Now, that's not great odds, so we do need to commit to that. And I think that I'm okay committing the Twilight Blade. We're actually fairly close to the end of this scenario, and I think that I've got a lot of cancels left in this deck. I don't know that I need to recur them off of this. I could be wrong. This could be a mistake. But I've got my 2 Azure Flames, and that's all I really need to do with Diana for the rest of the scenario. Is sit at big willpower and attack at big willpower. So we'll go ahead and use this to be 6, 7, 8 against 5 with the Dark Prophecy. Okay, I get to pull a 0. That's cool. Sorry, I'm just rereading this text. If no such token is revealed, choose any one of those tokens to resolve and ignore the rest. Okay, so I still do get an ignore. That's good. And then this is defeated, so it doesn't go into my threat area. Cool. Okay, so just like I said, I'm going to play the In the Shadows. Disengage from each enemy engaged with you until the end of the round. Enemies cannot engage with you and cannot deal damage. you cannot deal damage to enemies. So these guys are all just sitting here at the location, nice and happy. Why are they rotating like that? That's kind of weird. Don't do that, please. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just... Oh, no, I think I do the investigate instead. I have the actions to do the investigate. Yeah, I do the investigate. So I'm investigating 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'll use Mr. Rook as well to look at the top 9 cards of my deck, try and get rid of the Shadow Agents. There he is spawned. And I'll also pull... What will I pull? I'll pull a deduction so that I get both of the clues. And then I'll commit the deduction, so I'm like 10 against 4 Shroud, I believe it is. Elder Sign. If this is an investigation, you may choose any revealed location, but I'll just keep on mine. So Trish's ability triggers to evade him. I gather the 2 clues from the location, and that location is cleared. Oh, I guess I could do a Lucky Cigarette case draw as well. Okay, an intel report, cool. Now it's time to get the hell out of here, so let's take a move action, second action, and third action. I think we'll keep doing investigates at this location. We are currently 6. Let's commit this to be 7 against the 3. A -2, we're good. We'll pull another Unknown Places. Where you go. Court of the Great Old Ones. After you enter Court of the Great Old Ones, test 3. For each point you fail by, take 1 horror. Okay. 3 Shroud, 4 clues. The next action you perform with this round must be an investigate, but I'm testing 4 against 3. I do have an icon, so it can be 5 against 3. That's kind of nice. A -2, so we don't take any horror. That is pretty nice, actually. Okay, for Diana, we'll take a look at those top 3 cards of the deck again. Nothing. I don't know how I missed all these all these cancels so early, but it is what it is. I think she's going to go ahead and like beef up 1, 2, 3 for an Azure Flame over this Enchanted Blade. Let's not forget to actually do that this time. Just double checking the map again. It looks like this is also connected this way. Is that correct? Yep, that's also connected this way. It's actually really interesting. That's actually really interesting because I could split these guys up on their hunting to Trish instead of Diana. That seems very useful, actually. Yeah, I like that a lot. That is very good to have noticed. So that means that Diana can walk in and kill either the rats or maybe Brown Jenkin. I don't think she can't walk and deal 5 to Nahab, though. That's not going to happen. Also, I am at 7 willpower. I think I messed up some math earlier. Anyways, she does kind of have to stand around, doesn't she? So let's do a draw. Okay, we get the dodge anyways. And you know what? We'll just do another draw action. Okay, emergency cash. I don't really need that, but that's fine. So like I said, I kind of want to split them up, but I don't know how I'm going to... Which way I want to split them up. I'm going to have Brown Jenkin move here, because then he doesn't necessarily move... If he's here, he always moves to where one of my guys is. If he's here, he can only move to these 3 locations to dunk my hand. The Swarm of Rats is like 4 health. Maybe I put him into the center and put Nahab there. And that way, Diana can come in and kill the rats, and then these guys will hunt in after the fact, and then she can kind of deal with things after. Oh, no, you know what? That's risky. I don't like that either, because then... Yeah, no, let's do this, I think. This is going to let Diana walk in and use her like dodges and I've had worse to deal with her for a turn. Kind of juggle her a bit. And then these guys will come in after the fact. I think I like that better. Okay, upkeep on Trish is another deduction. Very useful. Good. And on Diana, her backup Initiate, who we don't really need too much. 2 out of 8 Doom. And counter card for Trish is Pulled by the Stars. So I wasn't really planning on moving this turn, but I guess I can if I need to. I could just use this to kill off Rook. I think that's fine. And then Diana gets the other Disquieting Dreams. We're 2 up on this. Only 4 cards left in the encounter deck right now. I think we're going to go ahead and commit this Arcane Initiate to it to be 8 against 3. Or, sorry, 8 against 5. Should I pull one of these back? Yeah, I think I pull something back. I'm just not sure what. I think it's maybe a Dark Prophecy. That helps me make sure that Azure Flame isn't kicking my ass. So anyways, that gets discarded. Okay, so we'll just start with Trish. She's going to investigate the location with the well-connected and the deduction. She'll be at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 against 3, plus 1. That's 2 clues off the location. Let's do these as clues, not as doom. And I think that she's actually just going to How do I do this? This is tricky because I kind of want the rats to come hit me and Brown Jenkins to walk on me instead of Diana because I don't mind cycling through my deck. My shadow agents are gone. My tower's in play. So I can just do this the slow way if I need to. And I think I like that. So let's just keep investigating. We are 6 against 3. So we'll go again. Oh, I should have drawn from Lucky Cigarette Case as well. Ooh, Mr. Brook. Okay. Yeah, we'll let this hit us then. So 6 against 3. -1. That's another clue. And we'll just do the 6 against 3 again. And if it fails, then I can maybe work in a hunch. Ooh, I can choose another yeah, but there's no other revealed locations where VP, so we'll just take that clue as well. Okay, and now we're looking a lot better on VP. We've got 3 secured. There's a couple left in the deck here. There's 2 locations left. I don't know how many of them are going to be VP, but we'll see how much farther we can get. So Diana's going to do her thing. She's going to walk up one. That engages her with Nahab. And you know what? We're just going to go ahead and use the Initiate. There's no harm in doing so. We get a ward of protection off of that. She's going to attack with an Azure Flame. 6 against 4. We're going to go ahead and use the Dark Prophecy. And maybe... Is there something else I should commit to that? I think I'll just commit the Fearless to be up 1 more. When does this happen? Oh no, if I reveal a tablet or a skull, this gets stuffed anyway, so I don't have to commit this. Yeah, that's fine. This gets stuffed first and then I get my boost. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get the skull, this gets bottomed, I get my boost. I get my card and my resource. And then that's 2 damage to him. To her, excuse me. And then I'll just Azure Flame again. Excuse me. 7 against 4. She does have Retaliate, but I'm not too concerned about that. -2. That's another 2 damage. So she is sitting at 1 remaining. We've got dodges. We've got I've Had Worse. I think we're okay on that front. So the Hunter phase, we're going to have the Swarm of Rats come to Diana, and we're going to have Brown Jenkins come to Trish. That's what we're going to do. The Swarm of Rats is going to come in and hit her for 1, which I'm going to... Yeah, let's just kill the Arcane Initiate off, and we'll do this test. 7 against 3. Yeah, that passes. And then Nahab will hit, and we will... Oh, I should have had her hit first and put 1 on the Arcane Initiate and then kill it off with the rats. Yeah, well, you know, fine. That's what we'll have done instead. How about that? So I've Had Worse gain 2 resources, and then that'll happen in the other order there. Now, I did forget at the end of her turn, Rook and her took 1 horror each, so Rook is toast. And then Brown Jenkins is going to discard her hand, which I forgot about, but it is 6 cards again. Fine. A Nimble's not the greatest. A Hot Streak's pretty good for Well Connected. Magnifying Glasses and Perception are just icons. Okay, upkeep for Trish, 14. Then upkeep for Diana, a Drawn to the Flame. We have too many cards in hand. Kind of regretting committing my sword now. I think that might have been a mistake. I think that the Overpower just goes. We're not really punching at this point. 3 out of 8 Doom. The counter card for Trish is going to be, excuse me, yes, Trish. If she's ready, resolve her Hunter Word, and if she attacks each investigator at a location. Okay, well, she just attacks Diana then. And so we're just going to play a dodge on that to cancel the attack. And then Diana gets a Strange Geometry, which shoves her into the middle of nowhere. That's a bit of a bummer, but she'll just take some damage and horror, but she can survive that, I think. Okay, now, Diana is fighting Nahab and a swarm of rats. We'll take the swing at Nahab with our last Azure Flame on this one. And will we commit a card to this to get 8 against 4? I think we will. 8 against 4. A skull, that's a -3, so she's toast again. Send her to the discard pile. We're not really evading him, so I guess we do just attack him. We're 7 against 3. That's a hit for 2. And then 7 against 3. That's a hit for 2. I've been really lucky with these, not punching myself in the face. It's super fortunate. Now, as for Trish, she's going to move up to Kazia's room here. And then we're going to go ahead and do the investigate. 6, 7. Yeah, 7 against... We'll say the perception in case we get a High Shroud location. 7 against 3. -2. That gets us a new location. Let's see what we get. It is the physics classroom. After you successfully investigate physics classroom by 2 or more, discover a clue at another revealed location. Well, we're going to try and get this clue off of Diana's Strange Geometry. That is incredible. Yeah, so let's go for it. We'll investigate with the perception committed. We'll investigate with the magnifying glass committed. That puts us at 6, 7, 8, 9. Fuck it. 10, 11, 12. -2. We definitely get that. So we get a clue from this location. We get a draw from the lucky cigarette case. We'll take 2 resources for that. We get a draw from the perception. And also we get to discover a clue at another revealed location. We'll take it off the strange geometry. And Diana will use this free triggered ability, while it has no clues on it, to move to any revealed location. Let's just shove her over to the Witch House Ruins. That's not going to hurt, is it? At the end of the turn, pulled by the stars, we did move, so no horror. Rat Jenkin is going to move to the center. We're going to get our upkeeps. It is a manual dexterity. And for Diana, a guts. 4 out of 8 doom. And the counter card for Trish is a unhallowed land. Test 5 agility. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If a cursed treachery is discarded by this effect, deal 1 direct horror to your investigator and to each of your ally assets. I'm fairly certain. Have I even seen this yet, this scenario? How many cards are left? There's 1 card left, and I'm fairly certain it's the other copy of this. And so I'd like to not fail so that I don't have to take a direct horror. But also, it's not that consequential if I do. I'm a little torn on this. I could commit a nimble and a manual dexterity and try and crush this task, but I still need to get a clue off this victory location as well. That's a little unfortunate. Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll just duel connected it, I guess. So we're going to get plus 4, so we're 8 against 5. Yeah, we'll just do 8 against 5. -1. Okay, that's successful. And then Diana, yeah, she gets the other one. Yep. Not surprising. Now, I don't remember if the encounter deck shuffles before this test or during this test or what. The deck just emptied. And I think that when you draw the card, you shuffle and then do this. But either way, I'm just going to ward it. But I'm fairly certain that it's like this. And please correct me in the comments if it isn't. I always forget how this works. Every time I get to TCU, I forget how exactly the ordering of that works. Okay, so back to Trish. She's going to investigate her location with a perception committed that'll put her at 8 against 4, -3. That's a clue off the location. And she draws a card from perception, but not from the lucky cigarette case, unfortunately. She's going to move back to the center here with Brown Jenkin. Now, do I check whether this is a VP location, or do I just try and finish the scenario? Is my question at this point. I've got time. I don't not have time. But the rats are really scary now, and they just chew up Diana's entire turn. And I'm running out of clues with which to get free evades off on them after I discover clues at my location for Trish. But I think that I do kind of have to go for it. I think it'd be silly not to. So we'll do a Burning the Midnight Oil, gaining 2 resources. And we will, I think we'll just commit the hot streak to this to be 7 against 3. Okay, +2. We definitely succeed. And then that'll reveal this last location, and then I can move to it, and I will. It is the Temple of Rilia. After you draw a Temple of Rilia, test 3. If you fail, draw the top card of the encounter deck. If you fail by 3 or more, that card gains Surge. Shit. That sucks. Okay, let's see how bad that gets. We're just 1 up. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Black Book. Thank you, Hawkeye Folding Camera. I could kiss you. Okay, as for Diana, what do we do? I think she moves up and engages Brown Jenkins. And the reason for doing that is that it will make it so that he doesn't turf my hand, which I think is good. And then last action, I'll just Azure Flame him with a Fearless Committed, perhaps. That seems okay. I'm going to need new attack stuff soon. But anyways, 8 against 3. An auto fail. Bummer. He's going to attack us for 101 during the enemy phase, but we're going to exhaust. We're going to play a dodge to not take that damage. And since he is exhausted, we don't discard our hand and draw that many cards. So then Trish gets her upkeep. She did take moves, by the way. And Diana gets her upkeep. Terrible Secret will deny that. Oh, dear. This is looking kind of dicey. I wonder if we extended ourselves a little too far for this last VP. 5 out of 8 Doom. Countercard for Trish is a Fate of All Fools. She cannot cancel or commit anything to this. But I can use my Well Connected to get +5, which I think is pretty good. +1. Okay, so that's fine. And then Diana gets Trespasser. She's like 7 against 2, which is really not a big deal. Could commit the guts to like force a card draw to just try and get through sooner. Because I'm actually not very well situated to fight with Brown Jenkins right now. I'm going to start taking a bunch of attacks of opportunity and stuff, which is going to be a pain in the ass. So I have to figure out something to do there. Trish might need to come in and help evade him. So yeah, we'll put the guts into this to force a card draw. Put a Horror on the Rosary and draw a card. Wrong hand. It was a dodge. So that's good. And this is a really weird set of connections. They're actually like wrapping around like this as well, which is kind of cool. I don't think I've played this on return very much to see this kind of stuff. So it'd be really cool if I could get these clues off this location with Trish, but I'm not sure if that's happening, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I'm going to play it safe and leave this victory on the table and just come help Diana and get out of here. So we're going to move, we're going to engage Brown Jenkins, and then we're going to spend 2 resources to ready this Well-Connected, and then we're going to evade him with the Well-Connected put into it. Actually, hold on. No, we won't ready that. We'll use the money talks to do the evade, and we'll be like 6 up, which we could draw a lucky cigarette case, and he's evaded. And then on Diana's turn, she's just going to get to like move and hang out there, I guess, maybe. She's probably just going to draw some cards to try and have a way to fight soon. So draw, move, draw. That's the entire deck, not just one card. Move, draw. And then we'll draw again. Okay. So we get upkeep with Trish. She doesn't take a damage from the horror from Pulled by the Stars because she moved, and Brown Jenkins ready at her location. And Diana gets upkeep as well for another Terrible Secret, which unfortunately we kind of just have to lose, don't we? That's kind of funny. How about we do something like this? How about we like discard 1, 2, 3 of them? And then we'll take 2 horror for the other ones we didn't discard. I think that's okay. It kind of puts me in a middle ground where Azure Flame's not worthless, but it's still kind of not great. Okay, so 6 out of 8 Doom. Countercard for Trish is going to be a Swarm of Rats. That's actually kind of a problem. Not a lot of health over here. And then for Diana, another Trespasser, which she's not super high up on anymore. But I think what I'll do is I'll just... I'll use a Dark Insight on that. Draw a card, gain a resource, and shuffle that back into the deck. So I think we just take this home this turn. I'm pretty sure that happens. So we take a move action, which triggers an attack of opportunity. The Rats does hit me for 1. But that moves us down to the Witch House Ruins. And then we're spending 10 clues to advance. We'll just have all 10 of those be off of Trish here. And then we advance the act. You put the side of the sacrifice location in play. If it is agenda 1, 2, or 3, you find her and place Doom on her and place her at the site of the sacrifice. And then we also move Brown Jenkins to her. And now Nahab cannot leave the site of the sacrifice when she's defeated. Instead of discarding, we heal all damage from her and disengage her from all investigators and exhaust her. She does not ready during the upkeep phase during this round. If there's no Doom on her, we advance. So I think we just win now because Trish is going to walk in again. And when she goes to walk, Diana's going to play a dodge. And that's going to cancel that attack from the rat, boosting her up a little bit higher. We'll move her over here to the site of the sacrifice. And now investigators at this location spend 2 clues as a group. Remove a Doom from Nahab. Doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, so she spends her last action spending 2 clues to remove a Doom. And then Diana moves in, spends an action, 2 clues off of Trish to remove the last Doom. And then that's the final Doom removed from Nahab, and we're good. Yeah, so there's no Doom, so we advance. R2. Great. When you come to, you're lying on the wooden floor of Walter Gilman's room. Everything happened, and oh wow, yeah, that was mega spooky, guys, mega spooky. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display, which is I believe 4 from the locations plus 2 as we gained insight in Arkham's mysterious past. We could have gotten an extra one, and I think we did have time. I think maybe I was just being a little cowardly there, but I hate losing this scenario so much. It's such a slog, and to get that far and then to have it all go to shit right at the end, it just takes the wind out of my sails, and I didn't want that to happen on video. Um, so I went for the safer route, and I don't mind getting 1 less XP. These decks are pretty good already, and they're just going to keep getting better, and I don't think 1 XP is going to make that big of a difference. So 6 XP, Gilman's Journal, Excites Formula, Warren Crucifix. One of us is adding the Black Book story asset to his or her deck. I don't know who yet, and maybe you can throw down in the comment section who you think it should be. It's definitely going into one of them. I just don't know who. And that's the secret name. We'll be starting the Wages of Sin shortly. I'm a little behind on the campaign play along a little bit. I think I'm going to get an extra scenario in this week, so hopefully you can catch this. Wages of Sin shouldn't be too far behind, I'm hoping. Anyways, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.